let's get to our state. So let's say, for example, I want to have a button here in each row which can toggle for me the not completed or completed status. Okay, so that information, basically we have to read the state first, and depending on that we display a button with the text either set to complete or set to incomplete. And when we click on it, that text should change and also change my value here. And we know this one is coming from prop, right? And we said the props we only read, we can't change. So be able to change this and display it in this row, we need to set up a state which read this property as default. Then the button can switch for us that state. Okay, that's look too complex, a lot of mouthfuls. So let's get into it. It's very easy, very simple, and we can easily do it. So the change we want to do, we know we want to change an item. Basically the change will happen at the item level, not on the list level. So the state will be in the item level. Okay, so the state we will do not in the list, and we'll make another example for it later, but the state change will be in to-do list or to-do item. Okay, so this is a React hook call useState. And the way we use it, we can declare here a constant, and let's call it what we will call it, status, because this is a status of our to-do item. So you can call it anything you want. Again, I'm calling status, and here you'll have a function that will sit for that state for you. Okay, and you call it again whatever you want. I'll call it sit, and that's common use with everyone. Usually you'll have your variable here and set and that variable, so when you have bigger functions or bigger components you don't get confused. Set status, and you call this React hook here. And our scenario, I will give it this one as default. So I'll say is the item completed. And actually that one give me another idea, is that this one means is the item complete or not. So I'll change my name, which make more sense, is completed. Okay, I will say set is completed. Nice. And here I will read the property here from there, because this one I'll be changing. It will not be always reading from the props. It will be read from the props first time my type were rendered, but not after I click the button. So you see here it's still working. Okay, now let's add a button here. And this button, you see it's lowercase because it's a normal HTML button, it's not a React component I'm importing. And I'll say if it is completed. So if it's completed, I would say set to not completed. And if it is not completed, then I'll say set completed. That's the name of my button. You see here, this is my button here. Now we need to have a function which when we click it will trigger it and toggle for me this. So the button, as you know from normal HTML and CSS and JavaScript, we have onClick function. And here I will add a function. I will declare here a function like we do normally in JavaScript. Let's call this const handle completion. You can call it anything you want again. And what I will do is I will say, okay, this function I want it. I will first call it here. And let's see if this function first work. Console log. Okay. Open my console. And now let's click this button. Yes. See, you can see my console here. So it is working. Now, I want this function to toggle for me this value. Okay. So I'll say I can call this one to set the state. So this one will set for me this state here. And I'll say set for me whatever the value of current state, the opposite. Okay, now let's see if that works. If I click set completed, because it's not completed. I'll say okay, set it completed, completed, and my button also text has changed. Nice, right? Now let's do some styling so this looks much prettier. I'll do some style for the button. I'll say in the item, button inside the item, I want border. This will be 1 pixel solid CC, and I want to have some border radius 4 pixels, and I want it to have some padding, and I want it to have some margin on the left to push it away from my text. Margin left 20 pixels. Save. Okay, there we go. And I want cursor to be pointer so I can see the hand when I go over it. Okay, and let's add some hover state so it looks a bit nicer. Hover, and for now let's just do border 1 pixel solid, and we make it black, full black when we hover. So you see here, nice. Okay, now we start to see something nice. I want to see first what is this. So this one is a P paragraph. So let's say this P paragraph, when it is completed, I want to have color green, and when it is not completed, I want to have color red. So I'll add a class tag called not completed and color red. Okay, so you see here green, 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 but it's open to everything because I didn't toggle this class in here. So I'll say this P, we should have a class, and the class will be class name, it will be conditional, and I will say if it is completed, actually if it is not completed, okay, then I want to add a class of not completed, otherwise nothing. Okay, good. But see here, I can still see this one without styles. Let's see what happened. So not completed, that's there. If I go here, item P, actually, let's remove this and just toggle the class itself. So I will say here, class name is not completed, then I want styles dot not completed, otherwise nothing. And as you can see here, now I can see my color, but it is crossed. And the reason is, if you know a bit more about CSS, because this will have more selectors, so it's override this one. So what I will do, I'll just come here and say import. It means I'm always sure that this is the style I want when my class exists. And there we go. Not completed, completed. So if I go here, completed, I'll set, and see, changed. So how we get to do that without re-rendering all our table? We just did a state. We went to our to-do list and we say, okay, this is the value we're reading now for this. We don't read it directly from the prop. And the reason why is because we know that we'll be changing the value of that property. And depending on that, we'll disable something in our table. I hope that makes sense. What we'll do in our next video is that we'll try to manage the state, but on the whole list, not only just on the item itself. So just stay tuned and we'll get into more practice with the state.